Hi everyone, coming on to do another Show Me 5, and this time I am using the Peaceful Noel from the Joyous Noel suite. So this is a stamp set that we are concentrating on today, and it has got lots of foliage parts that are two-step. So you've got the berries, you have got the leaves. This I use separately. I'm not sure if they're meant to go together or not. Or if that's meant to go under the leaves. I'm not sure, but I use it separately. And then you've got the pine bow, you've got the two-step holly and the two-step berry. You've got the watermark splodge, and then you've got the little starburst. So I have created 4 cards so far. This is actually the second time filming this, so I have actually got a start on the next card. But I'll talk you through what I've done in a minute. So these are the cards I've done previously. This one I have used predominantly Tranquil Tide. I used the Pine Bow and stamped first and second generation to give me a background. I then inked the edges with the Tranquil Tide. The layer here is just a shim of glimmer paper onto the back of some Tranquil Tide cardstock. And if I show you, oh no, I can't show you that one because it's already done. I'll show you it with this actually. I'll actually do it again. So just, that's fine, we'll do it again. And then I've done a 2, is it 2¼ inch circle? I think it is the 2¼ inch circle. I've then used the sprig punch and punched out some Tranquil Tide glimmer paper, and then I've added some rhinestones which I actually coloured using Blackberry Bliss Dark, but it almost looks like the Merry Merlot. If I bring that in, you can see it's pretty close, so it works perfect and it just looks like wee holly berries. And I used the sentiment also. So that was my first card. This one I went for a more elegant, luxurious feel. I've used grey granite. I've used a section of DSP from the Joyous Noel DSP pack. I used another bit of the grey granite, and I've used some of our copper foil paper. I punched out a few sprigs from the copper foil. I've added a little bit of copper thread just to give it that wee accent at the back of the sprig, and then I've used some of the metallic sequins, and I just chose the copper ones out it so that it matched the theme of the card. And I stamped the sentiment using the grey granite, and then I've added some rhinestones in, and I've just knocked one of my wee sequins off, so I will put that back on right now because it would annoy me. And to put it on, I have been using the fine tip glue pen, so I'm just going to add a little bit, and then I need to try and find some light to put this wee needle back in. With the Bell palsy, that part's the hardest. There we go. Alright, and I'll just grab my little sequin. Come on, you. And just put it on. And I've added rhinestones into the larger ones because I don't like to see the wee holes. It's just, that's my OCD, I think. It just irritates. irritates me. Excuse me. So I think it is quite a classy card. You could easily emboss that with the gold or copper and it would tie in beautifully, but I wanted it to be quite soft. So next up we have this one, and you can see here what I mean with using these separately. So what I did was I've used a variety of colours. I think they're all in the suite. Just let me double check that. I've got a list of the colours in the suite at the front of my wee DSP pack. Just move that. Oops. Put that back on my wee lid there. Right. So I've used Grey Granite, Merry Mellow. The only one that I haven't got listed that I used was Mossy Meadow, because I wanted a really rich. I'm really tired today. I never slept last night. I wanted a really rich green. So I have used the Pine Bow with Mossy Meadow. I have used Soft Suede for the branch. I'll bring in the card below, it might help. So for this one here is the branch. I've used the Soft Suede. For this one here, which is that, I've used the Sahara Sand. For the berries, I did do the two-step. I done Merry Merlot, and then I went over the top of it with burgundy stickles, just to give it that extra wee something. And I think it works. There's not a lot of it. I think there's 1, 2, 3 that I've added to, so it's not bling bling, but it's nice. Then I've got, let me see, the leaves here. I've done these two-step stamping, and I again used the Tranquil Tide. I punched some of the Mossy Meadow because I've used that in the background there. Punched some of those sprigs out, and also punched some of the Tranquil Tide glimmer paper ones out. I used my stitched circle framelits, and that's what I've used, sorry, stitch shaped framelits, that's what I've used for that card as well. That was the largest and second largest. With this one I just used the second largest, stamped to sentiment with Mossy Meadow, and then I used my, what colour was that? Let me see. Oh, it was Old Olive. I used the dark Old Olive Stampin' Right marker or Stampin' Blend and went over my rhinestones, so they went with the greenery. And I think it looks quite pretty. It's not overstated. I've had a little bit of Wink of Stella onto these wee berries, that I just used the insert one and I just randomly stamped them about, and I think it does look quite pretty. So that's my third one. The fourth one, I actually did film this, but if I'm honest, it took me nearly an hour, and for me, I wouldn't have sat watching for an hour, so I didn't bother uploading it. I will just talk you through what I did. So if you can see on that, it's almost like a wet look. So it's actually on vellum. I took the vellum and stamped around it with the different elements, and then I used some clear embossing powder and embossed it, and it gave it this really good wet look on all my elements. I then took my everyday label punch and offset. I done the one with white, then I done 2 with Merry Merlot, and I offset them so that I had extra, but these corners here were blank, because I only pulled it like down the way. Wait to see if I can replicate it in some way. Where did I put those punches? Put that in there just now. This isn't the right one, but I'll work with that. Oh, it is actually the right one. Let me grab that scrap. No, let me grab a scrap. Right, so what I did was punch, and I need a scrap of white. This is an old bit that I haven't used. It was miscut, so excuse score lines, but it will work for this demonstration. But what I did with this one was, put that there, I had my white and I brought my blue, which obviously was Mary Merrill on that one, and glued it like that. Then I took this one and I mirrored it down below. But as you can see, although these two corners look pretty, these ones don't, because you've got the overhang of everything. So that's why I put the sprigs at both of these corners. But I think it just adds something different to it. And again, I used the Tranquil Tide and the Sprig Punch. And these little ones here, if I just stick my finger in the back of it to highlight it, they are from the First Frost Thinlits. But I actually had a stack of them already pre-done. I already had all the colours done, and when I saw that I had Tranquil Tide, I thought, I'm going to use that. And I like that they aren't glimmer, so there is just a little bit that's not over the top. Then we've got the berries that I used, the faceted clear, in fact, they're the faceted gold gems, and I coloured them with the Blackberry Bliss Dark, and they just match perfectly. For the card here, I've added a strip of Mary Merlot at the back, just to give it that wee lift, and then I put the vellum onto white, Whisper White, just using some glue dots. I could have done it straight on to the card, but I wanted a different look, and I think that that's achieved it. I really like it. And then I went round here with some of the Wink of Stella. I don't know, I think it's this one here that I splattered with Wink of Stella. So to do that, I'll show you what I did, because I will be doing it with my other card anyway. Right, so let me show you. I will go back and do the base of this, almost. Yeah, it'll be almost. So I need my DSP, I need my trimmer, it's here. And what I did was I cut at 1 inch, then I took it across and cut at 1/2 inch, and then literally put adhesive on here. So if I just add some adhesive, And this is a good way to get maximum usage out your DSP without wasting it, because you can then get so many more cards done using that suite than if you had actually used the full of it over the back of that. No one's going to see it, so what's the point of wasting it? Because that would have been, let me just measure it. Oopsie daisy. I think this one's a little thinner than the other one, so I might need to smooth that over. That's alright. So what you would have been using is, let me see, so we used 1 inch on both sides, and if you were to put it all over, it's almost 3 inches, so you would actually get 3 of these done for that one piece of DSP if you hadn't used this technique. So it's quite cost effective. You can make a lot more for your money doing it that way. Where did I put the little lid of this? It's driving me bananas. I need to get another one, I think. Never mind, I'm sure it will come across it. So that was what I'd done, and then I layered it on to a piece of Merry Merlot that measures 14.3 by 10 centimetres. So that's where I am so far. I've got my card base. Let me see, is that the right one? No, it's not. What is it? Yes, it is. So I've got one of my A6 card bases. I need to score it if I can find my score tool. Everything's a bit all over the place here today, because I have been filming almost constantly all morning. Right, you're annoying me now, because I have no idea what I've done with it. Oh my goodness. Let me just grab one of my old ones. Just make sure that's nice and crisp. Right, put that back, or else I'll lose it. Right, so we've got our card base. We have got our layer that's going to go on like that, and it still gives me a nice white border because we've got white stars in there which tie it in. So let's get that down. Oh, I should have used Tombow for this bit. Never mind. This is just Collal that's in this, and it's actually the larger bottle, but I prefer the fine tip adapter. I just think it works much better and doesn't ooze as much when you put it on your projects. So we just flatten that out. Then I have done a stitch frame in gold, copper. That's the stitch shape, and it's the largest square. Then I have done the second largest square in Whisper White, and I've stamped Noel. Should still be on my block. It is. So it's that stamp there. That's not very good. Let me pull in the stamp set again. So it's this one here. It's quite nice. and I wanted just something simple. But what I'm thinking of doing for this layout is actually offsetting that, like so. I was in two minds about using the copper, but I do like it. I think it does offer something. So I'm going to get this on, and I'm just going to use this just to put it on, and I'm obviously just going to do the centre area because the other parts are going to be offset, and I don't really want it sticking everywhere. So let me just move that out the way, look for my kind of central point, and you might need to tweak that a little bit as you're going along until you're happy with where the positioning is. That looks good. Like that. And I'm just going to shimmy that over a wee bit to there. And then that pops on. I'll be popping that up on dimensionals. Here. And I can't see my scrap for picking up my backs. I don't know what I've done with it, but never mind. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one, 5. And then we just take the backs off these. So I'm just pressing them in really well so that the back comes away easily. So just using my pokey tool, I go in at an angle and then pull off. And that should get the 5 of them there. And they're all in the bin now. So I'm going to have this slightly off-centered. That's fine there. Then I have got some copper sprigs, but I do want some Merry Merlot sprigs as well. Let me just pull out a sheet of that. My sprig punch. And for the first few, I make sure I'm right up at the edge and right down at the bottom, so I'm getting the most out of my glimmer paper. And then I slide it over and do the exact same again. Make sure that it's near the bottom, like so, because you don't want to be wasting glimmer paper. So make sure I'm down at the bottom. And I've missed a little section out that leave there, and I'm not bothered, it's fine. I'll just turn that so I can see. I'm just going to finish this wee row off, and then we'll finish the card. So as you can see, there's very little wastage there. If I bring that back in, you might be able to get a few holly berry or something out of that, but you wouldn't get much more. So that's how I get the most out of my punches, is making sure that I am as near to the edge of everything as I can be. Right, so what we want to do is take these and position them. Now I'm going to add 2, I think, over here. So I'm adding it in almost at an angle, like so, and then I want to put the red, which I'm going to tear apart because I want one in between the copper there and one in between the copper at the other end. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm going, and I'll probably put another Merry Merlow one in between there. So let's get this down. So let me just tear a third one, move them aside, and I need to use my Tombow for this because I want to make sure it is super strong holding, because it's only going to be at the bases, so I don't want them falling off. Right, move out the way, thank you. Right, so I'm adding some Tombow, then I am having it at an angle before I push it in so it's not touching too much of the card when it's going in. Okay, and there is a little bit there, but remember I'm going to be putting my Merry Merlow over the top of that, so I'm okay with that. I just didn't want massive big splodges. So again, another one. Bring it under at an angle around there and just press it down. Then we can fill in with the Merry Merlow. So just one. And I know a few people were not disappointed, they were, well, disappointed that the Sprig Punch didn't match any of the flourishes from the Joyous Noel, the Peaceful Noel stamp set. But do you know something? See, to be honest, I actually like that it doesn't, because you have got so much more usage with it. You can use it all year round as foliage now. So that's that side done, and I think it looks quite regal with those deep rich colours. For this side, what I'm going to do is actually spritz it with my Blink of Stella. So I'm moving some things out the way because it does make a bit of a mess. It just sparkles everything. So what you're doing is just your normal Wink of Stella, don't need to do anything with it. Get something hard, a paintbrush, your scissors, a ruler, whatever. And then what you're doing is you are tapping that on to your card. And I'm just going to go over the top of that little sign as well. So that's that done. Put the lid back on it and I'll bring it up and you'll be able to see exactly what it's done. Can you see that? It's just added such a nice element to it now, and it's all over the white as well. I think it's really pretty. So what I might do here, don't know, is I might add, no I'm not, I was going to add maybe a wee sprig there, but I think I like that space being free. So that's my third card. We'll add a few rhinestones. Yeah, why not? So I have got my, oh, in fact I've got some already done. I think I've got some already done here. But what I'll do is I'll show you just for the camera so you can see how I achieve getting that. So let me grab that. Is it the Blackberry Bliss? Yeah, dark Blackberry Bliss. Okay, using your brush end. So you've got the bullet tip, which is the thin, and then you've got the brush, which is the broad. So using the brush tip on the side, don't go straight up and down because you will blunt your point. And I'll just do a couple, and basically you're just going over the top of your rhinestones. Okay, give it a wee waft just to dry it. Dried really quickly because it's alcohol. And then you can go back over and actually darken it, and it just gives it a more in-depth colour. So that's how you achieve getting your coordinating rhinestones. And these are not Stampin' Up, unfortunately, but I have got such a lot of these in my stash that I'm going to use these up before I buy more, because if I don't, they're just going to get wasted, which is something I don't like doing. What's the razor? So I'm going to add one on there. I will add one here and one up there. I like to keep number 3, 5, 7, 9 so that it keeps your eye interested. But that's the final card, and that is using the Peaceful Noel stamp set, which is from the Joyous Noel suite. Okay, so that's the stamp set, and I have got all the stamps out and about because I was using different bits. So if I bring all these back in, you can see. And if there's any of the techniques that I've used in these other cards that you don't understand, I will be putting a more in-depth written tutorial over in my blog with these 4 other cards. But if there's anything that you would like explained in more depth, just leave me a comment on this video or over on my blog, and I will be happy to do another tutorial online on video or message you privately and show you how to achieve whatever you're struggling with. So as you can see, there is a variety of different cards there. We have got the elegance, we have got the simplicity, we've got the kind of fun with the sparkles, we've got a technique based one, and then this one I think is quite regal and rich as well. I love that combination, the copper and the Merry Merlot just is beautiful, and the Wink Stella just makes everything alright. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, anything at all that you don't quite grasp, message me. I would prefer to explain things fully to you so you can recreate these in your own style using the techniques that I have used. So thank you for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll speak to you all soon, and I'll be back soon with another Show Me 5. If there is any stamp sets that you would like to see the 5 projects with, leave a comment down below. I will be happy to demonstrate that. I do have quite a lot of this year's stamp sets, especially the holiday catalogue. I've got quite a lot of them in, so I'd be happy to show you 5 different versions using that stamp set, because we all like to get our value for money. Anyway, thanks again, bye for now.